Good afternoon, everyone. I request all those who can kindly rise as the procession walks in. Please remain standing until the director and the procession is seated. Thank you.
A very good afternoon. I declare the convocation open.
या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणा वरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युता शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा पूजिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेषजाड्यां पहा. Thank you.
Shri Pankaj Patel, Chairperson of the Board of Governors of IIMA, members of the Board of Governors of IIMA, my faculty colleagues, officers and staff of the Institute, family members and friends of the graduating students, ladies and gentlemen, greetings. On behalf of the Institute, a very warm welcome to today's convocation. Our world is afflicted by a polycrisis, a situation where economic and non-economic shocks are entangled. We have an inflation shock that stems from disruptions caused by a pandemic and an energy shock caused by a war. Rising inequality, the slowdown in growth, and cheap credit have obstructed political stability in many affluent and other democracies. Additionally, there is the peril of climate change. We have been used to thinking about all these by focusing on them as issues in macroeconomics, finance, politics, social change, and the environment. That way of framing problems in disciplinary buckets and thinking of them in isolation works only when the pace of change in the world is steady. In the current juncture, it is useful to think of the interactions amongst the various elements that are contributing to the rapid changes we are experiencing rather than to think in silos. To navigate the volatility of today, as the graduating students would do, we need to look at the interconnectedness of things, to do systemic thinking. It is materially the interconnection points of all the discrete problems inside a function that fundamentally affects outcomes. In business, whilst honing your core competencies, you must increasingly look at the larger picture that is influencing our functioning. We need to take bets on how the future will pan out. What will bring about a satisfactory end to the Ukraine war? How will China escape the trap of its zero COVID policy? How will economies muddle through their financial woes and climate transition? In our digital age, the science of decision making on these is on the ascendancy. But we should not forget that making decisions requires accommodating different kinds of information and harnessing diverse ways of comprehending the world. Decision makers who are looking for sure answers and are always on the lookout for better solutions to issues they face, as revealed by what the data says, are looking to minimize downside risk. They prioritize addressing their anxiety about downside risks over options that have more upside potential. They neglect value added solutions that are head and shoulders above the consensus. As the investor Howard Marks wrote, by definition, non consensus ideas that are popular are an oxymoron. And in the course of trying to be different and better, we have to bear the risk of being different and worse. The same is true, whatever the profession you take up. Decisions by consensus are unhelpful. When the group is homogeneous, there is insufficient information, or sentiments are extensively influencing the decision. In such cases, by going with the average opinion, you are keeping everyone happy and being popular, but you are not adding any value. The decision maker who identifies value that most other people do not see is straying from prevalent wisdom and can only get there by creatively evaluating the alternatives with a certain degree of cognitive reclusiveness. Instead of being assimilated by the collective wisdom of those around you and amplifying the blind spots of the crowd, it requires mindful cognitive diversity to capture the differences in views between individuals and formulate a decision that is transformative rather than one that goes with the average collective view. The Portuguese coach, Fernando Santos, understood this when he decided to not persist with the consensus approach of continuing with the captain of the team, Cristiano Ronaldo, the highest goal scorer in the team and one of the most renowned footballers on the planet. He replaced him with a much younger 21-year-old Gonzalo Ramos. The forward players in a match with Switzerland were able to interplay the ball much more rather than making cross passes that eventually were intended to feed the captain and idol. Ramos scored 3 of the 6 goals the team racked up that day. There is, of course, the threat of a downside with a non consensus view. For the 2018 Test series against Sri Lanka, England made an unconventional decision of selecting 3 all rounders and 3 spinners and won the series. In the next Test match, they chose an eclectic mix of players and got smashed in the West Indies. The challenge in such circumstances is not to become risk averse and to stop taking reasoned but unconventional decisions that boost value. Furthermore, there is a predisposition in each of us to see the world from the optics of what we do for a living. Often in business, for instance, we do not understand the world of politics. Partly this has something to do with business people being pragmatic, believing everything is about negotiation and the world is about deals to be made. The world of politicians, by contrast, is in part about galvanizing intangibles such as honor, pride, or partisanship that has the ability to move people to do extreme deeds. The inability of business to take the dogma of politicians at their word has shown up now and again in our lives. For instance, investors did not believe that Liz Truss meant what she had conveyed. As far back as 2012, in a book titled Britannia Unchanged, a new generation of Tory MPs that included Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng called for a return to free market principles of low tax and supply side reforms. She initiated the biggest unfunded tax cut of the last 50 years, amounting to £45 billion. The markets reacted swiftly with a spike in government borrowing costs that threatened the solvency of the pension industry and the value of the sterling plunging. Truss was forced to reverse the proposed tax cuts and sack her chancellor, and she created a record for the shortest premiership in British history. She was succeeded by Rishi Sunak, who holds an MBA. Like you, he would have been trained in the ideas of competitive advantage, asset pricing, market segmentation, organizational behavior, and spreadsheets. He is the first person with an MBA to become a prime minister. Is that reassuring? Not if he is like Mark Zuckerberg. If we consider the equivalent of what the bond markets thought of Liz Truss's plans for the UK, it is what the stock markets think of Zuckerberg's plans for Meta. The shares have lost two-thirds of their value in a year, $700 billion, and the company has been forced out from the ranks of the world's 20 largest companies. Meta has made a huge and expensive bet on huge uncertain investments at a time when its core business is no longer growing. Tech companies try out uncertain new things all the time, but the size of the bet, where the company has almost no free cash flow this year, compared to $10 billion the last year, has worried investors. However, unlike Liz Truss, who lost her job, Zuckerberg is the equivalent of an autocrat and cannot be fired thanks to a dual class shareholder structure. For you who are graduating today, it is important that you be poets as well as quants. Poets are at ease in a world of uncertainties and cope with doubts. Quants are numerate, are good at spreadsheets and valuation exercises. In the world of business, as you assume positions of leadership, count like a quant, but also sing like a poet. Chi Kang-zu asked Confucius about the true gentleman, and Confucius replied, "A gentleman takes as much trouble to discover what is right as lesser men and women take to discover what will pay." The essence of the gentleman is that of wind. The essence of small people is that of grass. And when a wind passes over the grass, it cannot choose but to bend. May you stand tall as the wind blows in your sails, and may you have all success and happiness in your endeavors. Our very best wishes to you all. Thank you.
Candidates of the 2-year E-Mode postgraduate program in management, please rise. The candidates will please remain standing in front of their chairs until the chairperson, Board of Governors, IIMA, has conferred the degree on them. The candidates would then bow and sit down. Mr. Chairperson, I present Abhineet Sharan and 62 others who have fulfilled all the requirements for the award of the degree of Master of Management Studies and request the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad Board of Governors to confer the degree on them.
By the authority given to me by the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad Board of Governors, I confer on you the degree of Masters of Management Studies, and I charge you that in your life, by words and deed, you prove yourself worthy of it.
The Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, please. The Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad Gold Medal for Scholastic Performance has been awarded to the following candidate of the Master of Management Studies who will come forward as their name is called and receive the medal from the Chairperson, Board of Governors, IIMA. Hiteshwar Singh Chundawat.
Candidates of the 16-month E-Mode Postgraduate Diploma in Advanced Business Analytics, please rise. The candidates will please remain standing in front of their chairs until the chairperson, Board of Governors, IIMA, has conferred the postgraduate diplomas on them. The candidates would then bow and sit down. Mr. Chairperson, I present Mr. Abhilash Agnihotri and 41 others who have fulfilled all the requirements for the award of the postgraduate diploma in Advanced Business Analytics and request the Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad Board of Governors to confirm the diploma on them.
By the authority given to me by the Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad Board of Governors, I confer on you the postgraduate diploma in Advanced Business Analytics, and I charge you that in your life, by words and deed, you prove yourself worthy of it. My dear learners who are graduating today, Professor Errol D'Souza, Director IIM Ahmedabad, faculty, members of the Board of Governors, the relatives and friends and parents of the graduating students, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure for me to be present here with all of you on this very special day, which is the convocation ceremony of our ePGP and ePGP-ABA program. As we all know, the world around us is transforming at an accelerated pace. We have been fast forwarding into a new orbit with digitization coming at the core. Right from education to health and wellness, we are using digital technology much more than ever before. In fact, it has empowered us to simplify our lives and made us more connected. In the world of learning, digitization is helping students to pursue their dreams in a seamless access to the knowledge. There was a time when professionals had to take sabbatical from work or put their careers on hold if they wish to pursue their study once again. Digital learning has been a boon in many ways for all of us. Today, one no longer needs to take a break or sacrifice their career progression to upskill themselves. One can continue working or transacting their current jobs or business while gaining knowledge from the world-class institute, which is IIM Ahmedabad. E-learning exposes the learners to a large breadth of information and makes learning more engaging and interactive in real time while providing the flexibility. With a rapid pace of developments which are transforming the world every day, the professionals working in the industry needs to be abreast with the latest trends. This makes upskilling the most important factor for their career development and also their growth in the organization. As you graduate today, let me present you some scenarios which you might have faced in past or you will face in future at your workplace, and look and how you can shine through in this competitive scenario. Collaboration and integration is becoming a very important part of anywhere in any organization. The pandemic has effectively demonstrated why collaboration is very important. It is because collaborations that we could effectively tide over the pandemic had not everybody around the India not collaborated, we would have been still not in a physical degree meeting, or we could be all wearing masks today. The workplace of the future will be driven by highly productive teams powered by the motivated employees. And it is important that we enable our peers to perform while we deliver the best. The more insight we receive, the better understanding and outcome we will get. Individual excellence has to contribute to the team's outcomes, and that's where the real growth of all of us lies. The ability to integrate efforts, fuse them together in a way that enhance productivity and efficiency will become a critical factor. As effective professionals and leaders of tomorrow's world, you need to be catalyzing the shaping of strategies that make it happen. The second point which I wanted to talk about is the diversity. That's the biggest enabler in anywhere you're working. Where there is always a diversity of thoughts, insights, or perspectives in a team, you will find unique culture taking root. A truly diverse team is the one which values different ideas and approaches. This is a great motivational factor that will create high-performing teams and engage talent. As you celebrate diversity, there is ever-broadening horizon of respect, trust, openness, inclusiveness, and integrity that automatically comes in. The third point which I wanted to say is about you need to think out of the box. We are already in a world where disruptive approaches are shaping our future. I have always believed that innovation is a game changer like no other thing can change. There can be no development or growth unless we move beyond the obvious and look at things differently. What will also get added to this is the lightening pace of change, the agility in us to adapt, and how to bring in dynamism in executing this ahead of the curve of ideas. Our vision to anticipate change, an appetite for risk, clarity of focus, and ability to bring in convergence of thoughts and action will be important as we see and grow with new emergent opportunities. And I'll also mention about it, digital technology. When we speak of disruption and futuristic approach, the digital technologies have come to the core now. It's a salient revolution that sweeps across, that lead the new era of work we live, what we work and we think. The speed with which we embrace these changes will give us an early mover advantage. I believe, fortunately, India has moved much faster than many of the countries of the world, but we have miles to go. The power is lying in knowing how it can transform our business and enabling the organization transformation that the larger organization too is in sync with this change. A robust culture of learning and upskilling can bridge the divide that might take place and take the enterprise to the next level. As we move forward, we need to keep reinventing. Just as you have had advantage of learning new insights, gaining new dimension in your already existing knowledge and capabilities, learning curve should never remain static. As some of you have actually come to this program itself is an example of that. Where there is learning, there is dynamism and there is growth. When we reinvent ourselves, there are many new opportunities that emerge which challenge, and excite us for the work. When we do this, we find that there are no spheres that we can, newer spheres where we can excel and contribute. I believe this is a great motivator and confidence builder for all of us. I'm sure that the learning which is a great institution has imparted on you will raise the bar in whatever you do in future. You will find that knowledge and the viewpoint that you have gathered here will help you to open up your world of newer possibilities. As you integrate these insights, ideas, and knowledge skills at your work, there will be new wisdom as it will emerge. This will not only add value to your organization and create best practices, but it will enhance your professional stature and contribute. Before I end, you have been fortunate to get into this institute and get this degree. You have got three people here, three group of people who have made this possible for you. The first is, of course, your family, your parent or your wife or your relatives. The second is the stunning faculty we have here. And third is the people who actually came and studied with you. If you think very calmly, then you will realize that all these people did that for you without any expectation. Tomorrow, you will not find another person or a group of people who will do something for you without expectation. It's the greatest opportunity to remain connected with all of them. Obviously, you will remain connected with your family, but don't forget your faculty, your institute, and also your colleagues. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best in whatever you're planning to do now onwards. Thank you.
Please rise for the national anthem.
I declare the convocation closed.